Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Marco. I'm a former professional opera singer turned YouTuber, and I love talking about video game music from an emotional perspective after a decade on the stage. Today we're checking out Gnoster, Wisdom of Night from Nightreign. Here we go. This is most certainly the moth. Not because chat told me earlier, but also because you actually hear it in the music. So first of all, this is very ethereal. Now, is this moth like Mothra? Does it look like Mothra from Godzilla? I think it must, because there's an ethereal quality to it. So listen to this. You hear that? That is the dead giveaway of the bugness of this character. That little like creepy crawly wiggles on your, like with the tick that was crawling up my ear the other day during a live stream. That is how you can tell that it's an insect. Number two, we have this real ethereal. It reminds me very much of the butterfly from Dark Souls 1. Same style of music. Da, da, ya, da, ya, da. You know, you really feel like it's almost like you don't want to put it down. You don't want to kill this thing. It's like, whoa, look at that thing in the distance. You know what I mean? Like there's a sense of wonderment that comes with that ethereal music. I'm curious to see where this goes. I love the doubling there. That's so nice. And then it repeats actually in the harp in the lower register, you know, in the lower part of the harp. Boom, 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 boom. Nice doubling there too. It's really pretty. I mean, again, like there's, well, I'll hold my thoughts. Nice doubling. You have this beautiful, it's really giving me major regal ancestor spirit vibes, a little bit more direction than that piece, which felt much more like spaced out and amorphous. This has more of a sense of direction in it, especially with that sort of cascading. I also think that's really cool is that you can sort of feel the like flutter of the moth. Like you get that thing in there. It's really beautiful. But then you have this sudden change, which is like, hey, by the way, this thing's not actually great. You know what I mean? Like it's funny how the music shifts big time here. Check this out. There's a ton of accidentals there. It basically is a mirror of that previous thing, but it goes up and it has a little bit of like a twang of sharpness to it. That's like, oh, that's not good. Stacking. You know, it's interesting because it has a Celtic vibe to it. Obviously, it's totally mystical. Obviously, it's totally, you know, it's really, I hesitate to say reverie, like a sense of joy. But what I would tell you is that of the Nightreign tracks, but certainly of many other FromSoft tracks, and especially Elden Ring tracks, there's more of a sense of melodic direction in this that I'm actually kind of surprised to hear. The Elden Ring tracks in general lack a little bit of motivic movement. And in this particular one, we actually get real glimpses of repeating patterns. Obviously there's tons of doubling and stacking and building on itself and expanding, but there's still that sort of like nebulousness of it that I find interesting. For a moment there, I felt like we were really going to go into like a song proper rather than this sort of, I feel like a lot of the Nightreign tracks I've listened to have been fairly cacophonous. This one's dialed back, but it still has that sort of quality of musical spaciousness, if I make sense. Hopefully I make sense. This is similar to that, but it has much more of an intention and a direction, which is nice to listen to. Oh, phase 2. Wow. I mean, this is interesting. This is the most positive track. And now I said this actually about there was another track I listened to that was like this, but this is by far the most positive track I've heard in a FromSoft game. More so than the one where you're in that big fight in Shadow of the Erdtree. What I find really interesting about this is that this is incredible. It's like bright. There's a bunch of color on the screen. There's almost the sense of, again, there's a sense of wonder and majesty. This is not, the Night Lords, in theory, in our brains would probably be these arch rival nemeses that we have to fight, but actually this is actually a beautiful being that you really do feel a sense of sadness that you have to kill it, because it's only defending itself in a way. It's a harmless thing that doesn't want to fight you, honestly. To me, this music is incredibly, almost jovial, almost friendly, almost like, hey, you can ride on my back and I'll take you to a faraway land where I will protect you. There's almost like if we weren't in the given circumstance of what needs to be done in order to like advance or take care of whatever, it actually would be a companion. It's incredibly bright. It's incredibly enthusiastic, and while it doesn't really provide a sense of danger, does it? It really provides a sense of warmth, more so than Regal Ancestor Spirit, which Regal Ancestor Spirit was much more ambient and amorphous, where it was like almost like looking at this majestic thing in the distance. This is really like, oh, I wanted to be your friend. I wish that I wanted to be aligned with you. I'm disappointed that we have to fight. It really feels like more of a fairy, more of a nymph, a positive thing, which is really interesting, especially in the violins, more predominantly than the rest. I mean, especially there. I mean, especially like the little accents with flutes and all that other stuff, especially with the bright upper register, tends to naturally lend itself to this feeling of bliss, this feeling of beauty. It's not a nemesis. It's not a villain. Wow. There's a there were two moments in there with the lower brass and then with the violins here just around this last like maybe 10 seconds that really were really majestic and really, really lovely and warm and vibrant. And it's almost like, why are we fighting this thing? You know, like the question really becomes like, this thing is beautiful. You know, like what is the purpose of this? Like why is this a Night Lord? Like it doesn't seem to fit within the, you know, the confines of the stress. You know what I mean? Like you really do feel a sense of sadness for this. Sustained soprano. Yeah, that's very interesting. We actually see the death of the Gnoster, the death of the moth in this particular case. That to me feels like we're actually watching it writhe in pain and agony, as it's almost like it's as if it's possessed or impaled or replaced by something else. There's a quality in the sound of the majesty being ripped away, its wings being torn off. It is no longer. It's almost like it becomes deformed, but not in the same way that Adele is, where it's much more violent and ruthless. This is really like almost somber and sad, and we have to move as fast as possible to take care of this because it's actually tragic. It's much more of a tragic piece, isn't it? In this particular section here, the distortion as well, I think, indicates that. And there's a quality in there of replacement. Yeah, like right there. Bop, ya, pia. That is a sound of tension, especially with the brass. So you got like trombones and trumpets in there. And that's where I sort of come to because they were lower in the sound, a lot of this piece has been really string dominant. And obviously there's been a lot of brighter woodwinds, like flutes and clarinets, and mostly flutes, a little bit of flute accentation and stuff. But really it's this part where it's like, oh my God, like we got to hurry up. Like we got to take care of this. This is not good. Whatever it is, it's almost like it's possessed or something, like something shifts in it hard. Yeah, I'm still looking for a bit of cohesion from the Nightreign tracks. This was the one that felt most unified and most cohesive. There's a lot of like what I feel to be almost not an excessive amount of movement, but there's a movement that feels a bit disorganized. I think this track was probably my favorite of the ones that I've listened to thus far. But I definitely feel like this one really told a story musically, and who knows what's right. Well, besides you who have played it, I haven't played this far, but it does feel like almost like the thing is like on fire, or it suddenly becomes enraged, and it's almost like, again, a mercy killing, if you will. I mean, it's a beautiful track. It definitely feels like an upgrade from the Regal Ancestor Spirit, which we all know and love. And I think like this track is really just does a great job of showcasing, like I said, characterization. So yeah, thanks a ton. And there's lots more Nightreign on the channel, more to come, more FromSoft on the channel, hundreds of videos almost. Probably not true. Whatever. Talk to you later. Bye.